When you want to sound more knowledgeable as a leader, it helps to use an elevated level of vocabulary. When you use an elevated level of vocabulary, people assume you are more knowledgeable and competent, which in turn helps them trust you more as a leader. This, of course, can backfire on you if you don't actually have the level of competence that you need to back up what you claim. But in my experience, most people do have the level of competence that is required. It's just they don't know how to express it. They need a more refined way of expressing themselves so other people can see the hidden talent and competence that they have. And that's where this video will be helpful for you. As I've mentioned in previous videos about how to improve your articulation and how to sound more sophisticated when you speak, you can acquire this vocabulary yourself from reading. But I want to speed up the process in this video, and I'm going to share with you 3 different words that if you use in your communication, you can sound more knowledgeable as a leader. Let's get into it. The first word is vehemently. Vehemently. This is a word that's often mispronounced because it's spelled differently to how it is pronounced. So let's go over the pronunciation first. Vehemently. Vehemently. A side note here, if you ever need to know how a word is pronounced, you simply Google how to pronounce and then the word, and Google will present you with, at the top of the search results, a box that actually gives you the pronunciation of that word and the ability to listen to the audio of how that word sounds in both British and American English. So vehemently means in a strongly emotional and zealous manner. It's used to really emphasize the emotion and the passion in the communication piece. Vehemently is an adverb, which means it's added onto an adjective, verb, or another adverb to give more precision, clarification, or expression to what's being said. Let's look at some examples of vehemently so you can understand how it's used. The boss vehemently criticized the employee for coming late to work. The employee vehemently denied they were late for work. In these 2 examples, vehemently is placed before the verb, which is probably the most common situation in which you'll see it being used. For you, vehemently is a helpful word to add impact to your presentations, to your stories, and to your arguments as well. It helps to add strength to what you're saying, and it will definitely help you to sound more knowledgeable and sophisticated too. Let's do an activity where you use vehemently in a sentence. I'm going to give you a standard sentence, and I want you to put vehemently in the right place in that sentence. Amber and Vanessa disagree during the meeting. So in this sentence, where would you place vehemently? John agreed that this was the action to take. In this sentence, where would you place vehemently? Write your answers in the comments below and I'll let you know if you are correct. The second word is onerous. Onerous means burdensome, troublesome, or oppressive, according to dictionary.com. It's an adjective, which means it's used to describe a noun or a phrase. For example, my new boss has given me the most onerous task I've ever undertaken. The requirements of this contract may seem very onerous to person B. Because onerous means burdensome or oppressive, it does have a negative connotation when you use it. But if you want to emphasize that something is harsh or intolerable, then it can be a good word to use. And because most people don't use this word in their communication, by you adding it into your communication here and there, it can help you to sound more knowledgeable and sophisticated. Let's go through some examples so you can use onerous in a sentence. We're going to do something different from the last activity. In this activity, I'm going to give you a complete sentence. And in that sentence, I want you to replace one of the words with the word onerous. It's up to you to decide which word should be replaced. If you don't complete this training, your new job will become difficult. So in this sentence, which word would you replace with onerous? I feel overwhelmed with the number of hours I have to work. I'd like to request a less demanding work schedule. And in this sentence, which word would you replace with onerous? The third word is hapless. Hapless means unlucky or unfortunate, according to dictionary.com. Like the word onerous, it's an adjective, so it's used to describe a noun or a phrase. For example, the hapless victims of financial disaster. Victim is a noun, so hapless is used to describe the victims, the hapless victims. After he lost his job, the hapless man couldn't make ends meet. Again, the word hapless is used to describe the noun, the man. Hapless is a word that you probably come across more in novels, in books, or written English. But it doesn't mean that you can't use it in spoken English or in business English. You just have to know when to use it and how often to use it. If you're describing someone or something that is unfortunate or unlucky, you can use hapless before the noun to emphasize the misfortune of the situation. This will definitely make you stand out and help you to sound more knowledgeable too. Let's look at an activity so you can start to use hapless in your communication. I'm going to do an activity that is exactly the same as the very first activity we did in this video. I'll give you a complete sentence and you need to put the word hapless in that sentence. For this activity, I'll give you the answer after the questions. In life, you always have a choice. You're not a helpless victim. And when you insert the word hapless into the sentence, it would sound like this. In life, you're not a helpless, hapless victim. The lawyer's client urgently requested the appointment because she was in a desperate situation. And when you insert hapless into the sentence, it would sound like this. The lawyer's client urgently requested the appointment because she was in a desperate and hapless situation. I do have one important warning for you when you use any of the words that I've shared in this video. Don't overdo it. You see, it can be really tempting when you're trying to improve your communication or sound more sophisticated and knowledgeable to use these kind of words numerous times throughout your communication piece. But when you do that, when you overuse these words or when you use them in the wrong place or when you use them in front of the wrong audience, it can easily alienate you. You can easily look like somebody who's trying to impress rather than somebody who's trying to connect. And this can cause people to lose interest in you. When you're using sophisticated words like what I shared with you in this video, I encourage you to do it in a delicate and a refrained way. This will help you to make those words pop. It will help you to stand out and it will help you to sound more knowledgeable too. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. If you want more vocabulary that you can use in your communication to sound more sophisticated, watch this video up here. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next week in another video.